Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to go over our Forex trades for today, Thursday, April 21st. We liquidated one of our correlation positions, which we put on just a few days ago. It was a correlation position between Euro Canadian dollar and US dollar Canadian dollar. And we picked up on a non-size adjusted basis about 78 pips, on a size adjusted basis 11.5. So we'll go over that in a minute. First, a bunch of economic news to talk about. Well, it started. We've been saying that pension funds are going to start cutting benefits. Never knew who was going to be the first one, but Central States Pension Fund, which is a pension fund for Teamsters, the Teamsters Union, several million, one of the largest pension funds in America, several million people in the pension fund. They filed their paperwork starting, I believe it's July 6th. They will be cutting their benefits to their retirees by over 50%. As an example, there was a couple profiled. They were both from the Teamsters Union. They were receiving about $7,000 a month. It's going to be cut to approximately $3,000 a month. So the manager of the pension fund said basically, he did say that if they do nothing and they continue going down the road they're going, they will be insolvent by the year 2025, so in 9 years. We've been saying it all along. There's a ton of pension funds in trouble with this basically zero bound rates that we're experiencing. You got 10-year treasuries, 1.8%. They're not returning enough capital to continue with their outflows. This Central States Pension Fund for the Teamsters was paying out $3. I don't know exact numbers. It was around $3.60 for every $1 they were taking in. So there was no way they can make up that spread in returns, especially with zero bound rates. So not good there. We've been saying it was going to start, and here it goes. Last night at a dinner, billionaire George Soros, who's one of the most successful hedge fund managers of all time, he said the China debt-fueled economy resembles the U.S. right before the financial crisis. He says it resembles the U.S. in 2007, 2008. And he said that a hard landing in China is practically unavoidable. And that's what we had here in the States during the financial crisis was you could call it a hard landing. So George Soros, extremely bearish on China. How that's going to impact the global economies and the global financial markets, we're going to find out, obviously. As far as this morning goes, initial jobless claims came in with a terrible number. Again, it's just a weekly number, so it's really we don't put a lot of weight into it. What was it? Just a week ago, the government was saying it was the best job market in 43 years, according to initial jobless claims. Well, with today's number, they crashed to the lowest level since 1973. So it's just such a volatile number. It's an inaccurate number. We report it just because it's out there. Philly Fed came out negative 1.6 reading, where the estimate was a positive 8.9. That plunged back into contraction territory. Not looking good there on the Philly Fed. The big economic news this morning was the ECB. They kept rates unchanged. They said they're going to start buying corporate bonds. Now, we said this months ago, if you remember, that the ECB had hinted towards not just buying bonds, but government type bonds. But now that they hinted that they might start buying corporate debt, and sure enough, boom! Today's announcement, they announced they're going to start buying corporate bonds. Obviously, have a lot more risk than government bonds. So you have to ask, well, what's next? When is the ECB going to step in and start to buy stocks? It's inevitable that they're going to start to buy equities and who knows what other type of instruments. Some of the things Draghi said, he said risk to growth still remains tilted to the downside. Inflation can turn negative again in coming months. He says we're going to have low inflation for a long time. Amazingly, I thought that's zero bound rates and or negative rates, because there are certain countries in Europe going negative rates, was supposed to create inflation. So here you have one of the main central bankers admitting that low inflation is basically here to stay at zero bound rates. So it's another guy either throwing the towel in and just saying this is the new normal, or admitting that zero bound rates don't work, and maybe he's starting to think, well, what else can we do? I'm hoping that's what he's starting to think. So we'll see. UBS came out with a paper this morning warning on the bull trap of the recent equity market bull run it's had over the past 5 or 6 weeks here in the States. They're calling it a beware of a bull trap as the breadth of the market breaks down. So you got the breadth of the market breaking down. You got transports not confirming the recent move in markets. So UBS very bearish on equity markets in the States and in other countries around the world. So that's it. So let's get to the trade. We had a correlation trade, like I said, between EuroCAD and US dollar, Canadian dollar. Now, EuroCAD is more volatile than US dollar, Canadian dollar. So with that said, we had 20% of our normal size in US dollar, Canadian dollar, and we had 15% of our normal size in EuroCAD. EuroCAD, we were short from 1.44139. We covered this morning 1.43327, picking up 81.2 pips, or adjusted for size 12.1. And then US dollar, Canadian dollar, we were long 1.26944. Really didn't do much. I mean, there's a lot of noise here. The end result, we sold at 1.26913 for a loss of 3.1 pips, or adjusted for size 0.6. So like I said, not adjusted for size is about a 78 pip gain. Adjusted for size 11.5. We wanted to hold the correlation trade through the ECB announcement, and it paid off. We had this quick spike and then reversal back down. Where US dollar, Canadian dollar, it just had that big spike up, and it really hasn't done much. So we'll take it. You know, a very low risk trade, almost eliminating directional risk, and pull out a really nice profit. Unfortunately, that you don't get them every day. Sometimes you could go weeks without getting them, but this was a really nice one. I believe it was the second one for the month, I believe, that we liquidated, that we put on and liquidated within a matter of a few days or a couple weeks. So that's it. We're going to wrap it up. If you're still trading now, good luck. If any signals come out, they'll be coming your way. And we'll be back tomorrow, assuming there's some action tonight, tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your day.